All right, let's get ready to rumble because this deep dive, well, we're heading straight to the ring.
That's right.
You guys have given us a full episode of Squared Circle Relics.
Episode 65.
That's one, episode 65. And let me tell you, it is packed.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling talk, card collecting buzz.
Everything.
So consider us your tag team partners here. We're going to break down those highlights, give you that inside scoop on what really matters.
Absolutely. We're going to make sure that you are ready to go and collect some wrestling cards after this deep dive. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Let's jump in. This episode features, of course, the hosts with the mosts. We got Chris, that's CMC, Lloydie, your president, and Jamie, Colonel Chaos. And they kick things off, kind of reflecting on 2024 coming to a close.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just feel the camaraderie,
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, they've been doing this podcast for a while now, so you can definitely sense that they are good friends who love wrestling and love talking wrestling cards.
Yeah. And right off the bat, they jump into their thoughts on WWE's Saturday night's main event. And it's interesting how their opinions differ on this one.
Yeah, so you have CMC, who's a little bit more critical of the show. I mean, he's not, trashing it or anything, but he does have some issues with it. Like, he likes the production value. I mean, you can't deny that WWE knows how to put on a show.
They got the money.
They absolutely have the money. And, CMC also mentions the nostalgia factor, but he thinks they rely on the throwbacks a little bit too much.
Yeah. Like, it's cool to see the old school stuff once in a while, but when it's every other week, it's like, okay, come on, give us something new.
Right, exactly. Now, Lloydie, on the other hand, he enjoys the occasional trip down memory lane, especially for the visual spectacle. I mean, WWE's entertainment, right? Yeah. And if you're entertained, that's all that matters.
And I will say, they both agree that WWE's production quality is top-notch. It's definitely a standout feature for their events. And of course, they couldn't skip over Cody Rhodes sporting the classic Winged Eagle belt.
Yes, that was a moment. I mean, who doesn't love the Winged Eagle? It's iconic.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And of course, this sparks a debate on belt aesthetics, because CMC actually argues that the new Undisputed Championship suits Cody better.
I can kind of see where he's coming from. The Winged Eagle is a classic, but the new belt has a more modern, sleek look that fits Cody's persona.
Right. And Lloydie, of course, being more of a traditionalist, he loves the visual appeal of the Winged Eagle. He thinks it's just more prestigious, more, what a championship belt should look like.
And they also touch on that post-show angle with Kevin Owens, Paul Heyman, and Triple H.
Oh, yeah, that was an interesting development. It seems like they're setting up something big for Kevin Owens, maybe a future championship opportunity.
Yeah, maybe. But CMC isn't sold on Kevin Owens as a top-tier contender. He thinks Owens is better suited for a mid-card role.
That's fair. I mean, not every wrestler can be the top guy. It takes a certain charisma, a certain presence to really carry the company on your shoulders. And CMC doesn't think Owens has quite reached that level yet.
But hey, maybe Owens will prove him wrong. You never know in the world of wrestling.
Anything is possible, that's for sure. Okay, so after WWE, they shift gears to TNA Impact Wrestling.
And there's some buzz about Tessa Blanchard's return. She's back, folks.
Yeah, and it's causing quite a stir because, as you know, she's had some controversies in the past.
And the guys acknowledge those mixed reactions from fans. It's definitely a touchy subject.
It is. And it leads to a larger conversation about cancel culture and its impact on the wrestling world. It's a complex issue, Where do you draw the line? When is someone truly canceled? And is there a path for redemption?
They point out that wrestling, like any form of entertainment, has seen its share of controversial figures. Like Hulk Hogan, for example.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was pretty much persona non grata for a while there, but eventually, he found his way back into the fold. So it's a conversation that's definitely worth having, especially in today's climate.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. But just when things get a little heavy, a little bit serious, CMC's son bursts in with a hilarious announcement.
Oh my gosh, yes.
The classic humongous poo. Gotta love kids.
You gotta love them.
Okay.
It was just such a perfectly timed moment of levity. It's a reminder that even amidst all the drama and the serious discussions, there's always room for a little bit of laughter and those relatable moments that just bring us back down to earth.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, we're talking about wrestling and cancel culture, but at the end of the day, we're all human.
Exactly. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the world of wrestling cards.
Yes, let's dive into the cardboard gold.
The guys start off with a bit of a mystery. Panini instant releases are absent.
They're missing in action.
Like, where are they? And this has fans wondering, what happened to the Survivor Series and Saturday Night's Main Event cards? They were supposed to be out by now, but there's no sign of them.
Yeah. And, in the world of card collecting, when something like that happens, people start to speculate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guys on the podcast are even throwing out theories about what this could mean for card values. Like, could this absence actually increase the value of the cards once they are finally released? It's interesting stuff.
It's the law of supply and demand, baby.
Exactly. Okay, so on a more positive note, select mega boxes are hitting retail stores.
And collectors are buzzing about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't love a good mega box? And the guys believe that these select mega boxes could offer even better value than previous releases.
Which is a win for those who like to hunt for those treasures in their local stores.
Exactly. The thrill of the hunt, ripping those packs open and seeing what you get.
And then there's the highly anticipated Panini Flawless release. Always a big one.
Always a big one. And the big question, of course, is Dot sticker dump or Haven for on-card autos?
Yeah, because sticker fatigue is real, man.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with a bunch of stickers when they're paying top dollar for a high-end product like Flawless.
Right. You want those beautiful on-card signatures, especially for a product like Flawless. It just adds that extra level of class and authenticity.
And speaking of sticker dumps, National Treasures gets a pretty harsh critique.
Yeah, they did not hold their own.
They basically say it's lacking the high-end hits that collectors expect from a brand like National Treasures. Big missed opportunity, in their opinion.
I think a lot of collectors would agree with that. I mean, National Treasures is supposed to be the cream of the crop.
It's in the name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so WWE NFTs are back on the scene, this time featuring C.I. Rhodes and Tiffany Stratton from National Treasures.
Yeah, I guess entities are still a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, some collectors love them, some hate them. What do you think?
I think it's still a bit of a mixed bag, but it's definitely interesting to see how they're being integrated into the world of wrestling cards.
It's all about innovation, right? Trying new things.
Exactly. Now get this. Topps Slam digital cards.
They're making a comeback.
They are back. Lloydie's practically jumping out of his seat when they talk about this.
He's a big fan of those digital cards, huh?
Oh, yeah. Huge fan. He has a massive collection, and he's particularly proud of his complete set of Dolph Ziggler legendaries.
Nice. I guess with Top Slam back, all those digital collectors out there can dust off their collections and get back in the game.
Absolutely. The archive is already live, so it looks like the app's revival is imminent.
And to add even more fuel to the fire, they tease us with some hints about Upper Deck's AEW plans for 2025.
Oh, yeah. Jamie dropped some knowledge about a conversation he had with Upper Deck's Billy Celio, but he doesn't give us all the details. He's just like, you'll have to wait and see.
Classic cliffhanger.
Exactly. They know how to keep us on the edge of our seats.
Well played, Colonel Chaos. Well played. Now, before we get too deep into AEW and Upper Deck, let's take a detour to Jamie's Corner.
Ah, yes. Colonel Chaos's weekly segment where he shows off some cool wrestling cards.
This week, it's Wrestling Card Wednesday, and he's got a diverse lineup. We're talking Sting and Lance Archer, table for two.
Oh, yeah. Love a good table for two.
And then there's a Harley Race auto ring relic.
That's a classic.
They've got something for everyone, from modern stars to legends. And of course, since we're in the holiday season, they give us an update on the Wrestling Card Advent Calendar Challenge.
Yeah, I love this part. They talk about some of the awesome polls people have been getting and some of the funny mishaps along the way. Like, they mentioned Shockey, one of the participants in the challenge. He serenades everyone with a song each time he reveals a relic card.
Now that's dedication.
I know, right? Makes the whole thing even more fun.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that Graham takes the prize for the best Advent pull so far.
What did he get?
A Roxanne Perez Emergent number to 25. That's a sweet pull.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. And then they talk about the Dazzler Juice Robinson card,
Yeah.
which proves that even low-end products can have some head-scratching inclusions.
You win some, you lose some in the world of wrestling cards, that's for sure.
That's the truth. Okay, so after Jamie's Corner, we head over to Chris's Nook.
And things are about to get competitive.
Oh yeah, buckle up. CMC reveals the highly anticipated tag teams for the Nook Challenge. He's teaming up with Tommy Redgrave, and drumroll please.
Here we go.
Trav and Chris have joined forces. They are the Gagglesees.
Wow, that's the unique team name. I guess you got to be creative, right?
You gotta stand out. And the chosen theme for this challenge, chops.
Ouch. That's going to leave a mark. I can't wait to see how this all plays out.
Me neither. Okay, and of course, we can't forget about the president's hole.
Your president always has something up his sleeve.
Always. So this time, he's announcing an Eximus Liberator event for Christmas.
Another chance for listeners to win a unique card. Lloydie's always coming up with creative ways to keep the community engaged.
Just the best. And he gives a playful shout out to the previous winner, Scott Crouch, who apparently hasn't claimed his prize yet.
Oh, man. Scott, where you at? Claim your prize, adding a bit of suspense to the mix.
He knows how to keep us guessing.
All right, so before we head into the final stretch of the episode, let's take a quick coffee break.
Sounds good to me. I could use a caffeine boost.
And this time, it's all about stand-up comedy, inspired by Adam Anwar's own ventures into the world of making people laugh.
That's right. Adam Anwar, the wrestler, is also a stand-up comedian. Pretty cool.
It is. So the guys share their diverse comedic tastes, from classic British humor to the modern American scene. CMC is a big fan of Shane Gillis.
Yeah, he loves Shane Gillis. He praises his authenticity and his comedic timing, really enjoys his style.
Jamie, what about him?
He leans more towards the relatable, observational humor of British comedians like James Acaster.
Yeah, I can see that. So they're all over the map. I guess comedy really is subjective.
It really is. What one person finds hilarious, another might find totally cringeworthy.
Exactly. But one thing they all agree on is the raw energy and freedom found in independent comedy venues and online platforms like YouTube.
Yeah, they talk about how television can be so restrictive. There's so many limitations on what you can say and do.
Right. You got to be careful not to offend anybody these days.
Exactly. But in those smaller venues and online, there's more room for experimentation, for pushing boundaries, for just being yourself and letting loose.
And they even have a little debate about the use of gimmicks and musical instruments in stand-up.
Oh, yeah. CMC is firmly against guitars, unless it's a synthesizer.
A synthesizer? What's so special about a synthesizer?
He says, and I quote, "A synthesizer guarantees comedic gold."
I guess I'll have to take his word for it.
He's the expert.
Mhm.
All right, so coffee break's over. Are you ready for the main event?
Hit me with it.
The top 5 segment. Let's hear what treasures the guys have pulled from the world of wrestling cards.
This is what we've all been waiting for.
I know, right? The anticipation is killing me.
All right, so what's different this time is that they've decided to showcase their individual top 5 pulls of the year instead of combining them into a mega 5.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? I mean, they've pulled so many incredible cards throughout the year. It would be impossible to narrow it down to just 5 if they were all together.
And it really shows how dedicated they are to the hobby.
Yeah.
It's not just a casual thing for these guys. They're all in.
They are. All right, so let's start with Lloydie's top 5. He's got a mix of rare parallels, autos, and even a potential last card on print, Brock Lesnar from Elite.
Nice. Brock Lesnar always commands a premium.
Always. And he's had a phenomenal year for one-of-ones.
Like what?
He pulled a John Cena Leaf 1-of-1, a Billy Graham Chronicles 1-of-1.
Those are some big names.
I know, right? But his number 1 pick, the one he's most proud of,
Drum roll, please.
a Rock, Timeless Moments, FRTL Pink, numbered to just 4.
Whoa. Now that's a grail card.
A true grail. All right, up next we have Jamie's top 5.
Let's see what Colonel Chaos has cooked up.
He's had some great success with Terry Funk in Prism.
Terry Funk, the hardcore legend.
The man himself. So Jamie's got 2. First off, the Line Blue Shimmers and a Sparkle, all featuring Terry Funk.
That's awesome.
Mm.
It just goes to show that you don't have to pull those mega hits to have a successful year in card collecting.
Exactly. Focusing on a specific wrestler or a specific set can be just as rewarding.
For sure. What else does he have?
Well, he also mentions a redemption for a Ricky Steamboat Prism Auto.
Redemptions. Those can be hit or miss.
It can be, but when they hit, it's a great feeling.
Absolutely. Any other redemptions?
Yeah, he also got a Steve Blackman redemption from Panini.
Steve Blackman. The Lethal Weapon. That's a cool pull.
It is. Okay, now let's move on to Chris's top 5. And you can't forget about that Topps Chrome Tanker spot.
Oh, yeah. That was a wild one.
It was, and he managed to pull a gold auto number to 10 from that break.
That's the luck of the draw, baby.
Yeah.
Sometimes those group breaks can really pay off.
They can. So Chris starts his top 5 pulls with a Swerve Gold Parallel from Match Dated Moments.
Swerve. One of the most exciting wrestlers in the game right now.
Absolutely. And this card commemorates his first World Championship win, a perfect way to mark a momentous occasion in Swerve's career.
Agreed. What else does he have?
He's got a Trish Stratus Photogenic number to 25, an Undertaker Gold Ringside number to 10, and a Charlotte Flair Slam Attacks Chrome 1-of-1.
Nice mix of modern stars and legends. He's got good taste.
He does. But his number 1 pick, the one that really takes the cake,
Lay it on me.
a Randy Keith Orton Slam Attacks Chrome 1-of-1. And get this, He snagged it for a mere $2 from Card Shop Live.
$2, that's highway robbery.
No, talk about being in the right place at the right time.
What a steal.
Okay, so now we've seen their top 5 pulls. They switch gears and showcase their top 5 favorite cards that they currently own. But this time, it's not about monetary value.
It's about the sentimental value, right? The personal connections.
Exactly. And I think this is a really cool segment because it shows that card collecting is about more than just making money. It's about the memories, the emotions, the stories behind the cards.
Absolutely. It's about the passion. So let's start with Lloydie's top 5. He's got a Brawn Breaker Color Blast from 2022 Prism that was gifted to him by Trav.
Ah, that's sweet. Proof that the best cards often come with a story attached.
And speaking of stories, he also includes his Dolph Ziggler Black Elite 1 of 1. He talked about that earlier.
Yeah, that's a card that holds a lot of significance for him. And he's also got a Jake Roberts autographed Black 1 of 1 from AEW 2020.
Jake the Snake Roberts. A true legend.
And of course, he has to include his recently pulled Rock Timeless Moments FOTL. I mean, come on, that card is amazing.
Yeah, that's a keeper for sure.
Yeah.
But what's his number 1?
His number 1 pick is a Booker T 5 times Chrome Auto numbered to 5.
Booker T 5-time, 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 5-time world champion.
You got it. And this card is special for a couple of reasons. First, it represents the history of the podcast. They had a running gag about Booker T's 5 world championships, and this card just embodies that.
I love it.
And second, it represents Lloydie's growth as a collector. It's a card that he acquired early on in his journey, and it's just held a special place in his collection ever since.
I can see why. It's a beautiful card.
It is. All right, now let's move on to Jamie's top 5. After some careful consideration, he starts his list with a Sting Topps Legends Auto Relic.
Sting, the icon.
The man called Sting.
Who else?
He also includes a Trish Stratus rookie auto with a personalized inscription.
Ah, that's awesome. Personalized autos always add that extra touch.
They do. And he's also got a Shane and Kangol trash can relic.
A trash can relic. Now that's unique.
It is. And rounding out his list is a recently acquired Duchian logo lenticular auto from Bandai.
Lenticular. Gotta love those old school cards.
They're so cool. But his number 1 pick, well, it's all about the relics, baby.
Let's hear it.
A Jeff Hardy and Undertaker dual relic card with glow-in-the-dark patches.
Ooh. Now that's a card that's sure to stand out in any collection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, we have Chris's top 5. He kicks things off with a Bret Hart pink relic that he acquired from Janie.
See? Trading and sharing cards within a community can create lasting bonds. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. It's more than just buying and selling. It's about the connections you make along the way.
What else does Chris have?
He's got an Undertaker throwback auto, a mysterious Jake the Snake Roberts card that might be a custom creation.
Custom cards are always cool.
They are. And of course, he has to include the personalized cards that Jamie gifted them for Christmas. Those were really special.
Yeah, those personalized touches are what make this hobby so great.
Absolutely. And his number 1 pick, the one that really tugs at the heartstrings.
Tell me.
A Big Boss Man SmackDown 99 card.
Big Boss Man. The guardian of the law.
That's right. And this card represents Chris's early days as a collector.
It was his first significant pull, right?
It was. And it's a reminder of how far he's come in the hobby. It's a card that holds a lot of sentimental value for him.
I get it. We all have those cards that take us back to the beginning, to those early days of collecting when everything was new and exciting.
Exactly. It's like a time capsule of our passion.
It's a card that just takes him right back to those good old days. And, you know, I think it's really cool how they're highlighting the personal connections, the stories behind the cards, rather than just focusing on the monetary value.
Yeah, definitely. That's what makes collecting so special, right? It's not always about the money. Sometimes it's about those cards that hold a special place in your heart.
Exactly. Like Jamie's Asuka Takeover dual relic numbered to 25, pulled from a blaster, no less.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That just shows you don't need to break the bank to find something incredible. Sometimes those unexpected pulls are the most rewarding ones.
Absolutely. And hearing them talk about some of their biggest regrets, like Jamie selling that CM Punk shirt relic, well, it's a good reminder for all of us to cherish what we have.
Yeah, you never know what a card might be worth down the line, but more importantly, you never know what kind of sentimental value it might hold for you years later.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in market value and potential profits. But sometimes that sentimental value is way more important.
Definitely. Okay, but back to the episode. I think it's really inspiring to hear how this podcast has impacted listeners Like Kieran.
Yeah, he shared how the podcast helped him through some tough times,
Yeah.
providing a sense of connection and shared passion.
Exactly. It just highlights the power of community and finding your tribe. Wrestling card collecting, it's more than just a hobby. It can be a source of support and camaraderie.
And that's something CMC, Lloydie, and Jamie have cultivated so well with Squared Circle Relics. They've created a space where fans can come together, share their enthusiasm, and just feel like they belong.
For sure, they've really fostered a genuine sense of community, and that's something special.
It is.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into Squared Circle Relics, episode 65, they share some heartfelt messages from other listeners. It's clear that this podcast and the wider wrestling card community has had a really positive impact on people's lives.
It's amazing to see how something like collecting wrestling cards can bring people together and create such meaningful connections.
I know, it's heartwarming, isn't it? It's like they've built this little family of wrestling card enthusiasts. And these messages, they serve as a powerful reminder of the positive influence these communities can have, especially for those who might not have many wrestling-loving friends in their immediate circles.
Absolutely. So with that, the episode draws to a close, leaving listeners with a sense of anticipation for what 2025 holds for both the podcast and the world of wrestling cards.
And before they sign off, they share some stories about their most memorable pulls. It's like reliving those exciting moments right along with them, like Jamie's incredible Asuka takeover dual relic numbered to 25. Remember, he pulled that from a blaster.
Yeah, incredible. It just proves that amazing finds can come from the most unexpected places.
Right, you never know what you're going to get when you rip open a pack.
Exactly. And then there's Chris's story about his first ever one-of-one pulled on his channel, a Chad Gable from Slam Attack's Chrome. You can just hear the excitement in his voice as he recounts the story.
Yeah, it's those moments that make collecting so addicting. The thrill of the chase, the anticipation, and then that feeling of pure joy when you finally pull that card you've been hunting for.
It's a rush.
Yeah.
And it's clear that for these guys, the personal triumphs resonate more deeply than any monetary value.
Totally. And they also talk about their evolution as collectors, including past sales and trades.
And there's a mix of fondness and occasional regret as they look back. Like, Jamie kind of wishes he hadn't sold that CM Punk Platinum Jumbo shirt relic from 2010.
Hindsight is always 20/20, right? It's easy to look back and think, man, I should have held on to that card. But at the time, maybe it seemed like the right decision.
Exactly. It's all part of the learning process, learning, growing, and refining our tastes as we go along. And sometimes that means letting go of certain cards to make room for new treasures.
For sure.
It happens to the best of us.
Definitely.
But hey, it's all part of the journey, right?
Absolutely.
And speaking of journeys, it looks like this episode of Squared Circle Relics is coming to an end.
Yeah, they're wrapping things up, but not before one last little bit of fun.
Hit me with it.
They all shout F. John Cena in unison.
Oh, man. Classic. You got to love these guys. Always keeping it real. Always keeping it entertaining.
Exactly. So there you have it. That was Squared Circle Relics, episode 65, a fun, insightful, and community-driven episode filled with wrestling talk, card collecting buzz, and, of course, a whole lot of laughs.
It's always a good time with those guys. And now it's your turn to take a deep dive into your own collection.
That's right. We're leaving you with a thought-provoking question inspired by all those amazing top 5 cards.
All right, let's hear it.
If you could only keep one card from your entire collection, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, but that's the beauty of it. Think about it. Which card holds the most meaning for you?
Which card tells your story?
Exactly. So we want to know, what's your one card? Let us know. And until next time, happy collecting.
We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.